Hi, everybody. Okay, so good to see so many people we haven't seen in a while. Um, okay, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Kim Bash, and I am originally from South Africa, and I've been living in Israel now for the past 18 years. And I have been working in the real estate industry for going on nearly 14 years. And I started the Find Me a Community in Israel just about 2 and a bit years ago when COVID hit around the world, and many people were reaching out to me and saying to me, Kim, we want to come to Israel. We want to either make Aliyah, we want to invest, we want to get our foot in the door, and what should we do? Where should we go? We cannot come and do a pilot trip. So this is how the series came about, and we have covered many cities and neighborhoods across Israel. And for those of you who've been following me over the last couple of years, for me, it's not about, yes, I run a real estate company, and we have partners all over Israel that we work with, but it's never about, for me, selling a house. I believe that a house is just a house. It's just four walls. But when you find your community, that's really when you find your home. So I'm all about finding the right place. I believe that Israel, there's a place for absolutely everybody, and it's important to do to do as much research as you can. And we are delighted to be able to use this as a platform for people to be able to come, even if they are not able to do a pilot trip. And it looks like, unfortunately, Israel is closing up again for a little bit of time now. Some people are not able to get in. The law is going to be now changing all the time. Sorry, I'm muting. Please remind to mute everybody. We have, over the last 2 years, sold so much real estate over the phone on WhatsApp. People have come and made Aliyah to the places that we've showcased on our platforms, and we continue to do so. So tonight we're trying to find affordable opportunities for people. And Harish has been on the radar for a long time. And tonight we're very happy to have some of the local people, new Olim, who have made Aliyah to Harish. And we're going to be asking them to speak about their experience, about living in the community and what it's all about. And then afterwards, we're going to have open floor discussion for people to ask questions, as well as we are going to be presenting some real estate opportunities, because I don't believe in presenting a community to my platform if there's no opportunities for people to move there. So that is part of the core. And Devorah, who has been, Devorah is a very close friend of mine and also works for Kim Bash Real Estate, and she is going to be emceeing this call tonight. And she put a lot of work and effort into finding great people to come on tonight. So I'm going to hand over to Devorah Ben-Arash, and she'll introduce herself and tell you a little bit about Harish, and then we'll hand it over to some of our local people. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on tonight. Take over, Deb. We can't hear you.
How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. We decided we wanted to do Harish because so many people said, how do we get into Eretz Yisrael and be able to buy something that is more affordable? Because where I live and where I've been selling homes is in Ramat Beit Shemesh, which is a very Anglo-populated, highly condensed neighbor area where the real estate prices just keep going higher and higher and higher. And people love living here, and it's great, but it's just not affordable for everybody. So we've been looking all over the country and investigating, and one of the names that kept coming up was Harish. So we started looking into it, and all the feedback that we've gotten was so many people are so happy living there. So that's a great thing when you're just, investigating. So we're going to bring on a bunch of different people to give you a little bit of background of when they landed there and where they're living and their experience of the community. And just so everybody knows, Harish is one of the most planned cities, recent planned cities in Eretz Yisrael. It's a smart city, meaning everything has been designed to the optimal living, and it's like a city on top of also a forest. So there, even though you may have city life, you're really right next to where there's green forest, which is walkable to from most people's homes. So it gives you this nice dichotomy of lifestyle. So a lot of the homes have beautiful views. And it's also near shopping, it's near schools, it's got infrastructure, everything that you would need. And it's also a melting pot of different levels of religiosity, which is really important to the integral part of the community. So we're going to hear from different people, and let's start. So our first person who's going to join us is Chaya. Hi, Rivka. If you want to unmute yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself, when you came to Harish, where you're living, and how you like the city.
Great. Hi, everyone. So I came to Israel for the first time in February of 2019, and Baruch Hashem, someone told me about Harish, and I made Aliyah in September of 2019. So I got here just before COVID hit. And it's been really great for me because I'm on my own, a single income, low income, and I can afford to live here, and I have a great lifestyle. I really do. Harish is a wonderful place because there's everything from totally secular to Haredi, everything in between. And one of the nice things I found here is that it's not like it's an established old community. So you're not trying to break in to like cliques and groups and trying to find where you fit in. Everyone fits in here, and we all really need each other here because we're all new. So I found that really, really, it's a really warm and welcoming community. And I also think it's really well located because I'm from Canada, so it takes forever to get anywhere. So I can get to Jerusalem on public transportation within 2 hours. I can get up to Haifa, probably if I was driving, within about 35 minutes. I can get up to the spot in about an hour and a half if I'm driving. So for me, it's just a great place.
Hi,
Amazing.
can I ask the question? Tell me about the social life. Like, is there lots to do?
I guess for really young couples, probably there's not that much to do. However, if you really are into nature, it's wonderful. There are 2 tunnels that go under Highway 6, walking tunnels to go under Highway 6, and you're right in the forest, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm about a 25-minute drive from the astonishing beaches at Caesarea, which really, there's nothing like them. And you can walk for kilometers up the coast. So if you're really into nature and hiking and swimming, it's fantastic. And you know, during COVID, I've been very blessed. I don't have a car myself, but if you have a car or you don't mind taking the bus not too far away, there's lots to explore. There's so many places that I've been around here. But if you're looking for nightlife, there's always Hadera, which is very close, and Pardes Chana. So we have restaurants here now. We actually have a pub here. When I came, there were almost no stores. There really wasn't even a proper grocery store. And now there's a few big ones, and it's really a very well-equipped city.
How's your Hebrew?
Almost non-existent, but it's getting better slowly.
No problem. We know all about that. Okay, that's good that you can get around. And is there like a singles thing, or do you mostly go with families, or like on Shabbat?
There's not really that many singles that I've encountered here. And, you know, in my age range, I'm nearly 60. So most of the people that I encounter are families, but it really doesn't bother me at all. I am, you know, I was looking and I'm just started to date someone, so we'll see what happens. But really, being on my own here, I've never felt safer. I feel safer than I ever felt anywhere that I lived in Canada. And it's such a warm and open place. I mean, I have met so many people and established some really good friendships. There's Shirim here. I go to a knitting circle. I've never knit or crocheted in my life. And they don't really speak English, but, you know, they've been teaching me how to crochet and knit. And there's a lot of artists here. and there's great events. And I would say there's plenty to do if you really are open to trying new things.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go on to our next participant this evening, Siona. Hi, you want to just unmute yourself?
Hi, everyone, and hiya. I'm happy to meet you, and we'll switch numbers later. So I come from a very different world from, it's very interesting. I made Aliyah in 1983, but I only moved to Harish 6 months ago, and I actually helped create a community of, we're 15 strong right now that have rented in the same building for 5 years at a fixed rent.
Wow.
I don't know if anyone's willing to do it anymore, but we're 3 Anglos, some Spanish speakers and Israelis. And I'm not religious, so I'll tell you some things that I found about. I agree with almost everything that Chaya said. There is Chaya, I will tell you, I just turned 60. There's a very active 60 plus group here, and there is a Ma'adon, and in fact, they just got a few million to build a center for the 60 pluses where there'll be chugim, and there are already tiyulim, like you can go for a whole day tiyul for 40 shekels. Somebody asked about, sorry, do you mind me needing some water? Sorry, I've got the heater on and I think it's making me. There is fantastic education in Harish. It's getting a reputation as one of the very good centers of education in Israel. And one of the reasons is there's a garin that came here from a kibbutz. They're all young teachers from kibbutzi, and it's called the Kibbutz Ironi, which is a city kibbutz. I'm just having a... No, it's not mostly an Anglo community. It's vast majority are Israelis, but there is a decent-sized small Anglo community and a very big Spanish community, by the way, but it's predominantly an Israeli community. Because of this kibbutz ironi, does everyone know what that means? It's like a group of 17 teachers who live in the same building. They're all educators, and they're creating a real name in Israel in the schools in Harish. So they're very, very good, both Orthodox and non-Orthodox, what we would call Chiloni schools. Very interesting. It's a city where if you want to influence and get involved, this is really the place. It's completely happening. There are courses being run about becoming a community activist and taking a project and running with it. There's so many things going up on here. I just can't even keep up with most of the things. Seriously, you can't keep up with most of the things that are happening. There's starting to be cultural events here for religious and non-religious. It's very interesting. And of course, in the wider area, there's Pardes Chana, Karkur, Binyamina, Hadera's not far away. So there's lots happening. If you're into alternative, healthy lifestyle, organic, boy, fabulous place, because everything like that is in Pardes Chana, Karkur. And lots of different people here, and people are very friendly here. I lived somewhere else before where in Pardes Chana, it's very hard to break in. It's very hard to get in, whereas here, it's totally opposite. People want to be friendly. They want to meet you. There's a huge amount of WhatsApp groups. People want to be in contact. They want to create something new. And I think that's what I find so exciting and wonderful. I have absolutely no regrets about moving here. I've been here for 6 months and I'm super happy about it. I don't know if there's something else you want me to speak about, but
I think that was a great overview.
I have a question, Siona. Where is there a particular, and we're going to cover this in our real estate section at the end, but are you in a particular neighborhood that is predominantly more Anglo? Or
I don't
Like,
think
who are the
there's a
neighbors?
neighborhood like that. I don't know if there's something like that exists. I think the Anglos are spread out all over. I don't think that exists really. There was an Anglo group. It's not doing well. I actually thought of starting another Anglo group on Facebook because the one that exists isn't really functioning. So I don't think so, but I think people are, there's a social worker in the area who's for Olim Hadashim to try and help them through all kinds of things. If you're above 60, there are groups. If you're parents, there are different groups. So, but I think it's a great way for people to also really meet Israeli and people from, as I said, there's a very big Spanish-speaking community who are coming here for the same reasons, economic chance and opportunity, and because there are more and more of them. So,
Are there job opportunities in the neighborhood or people commuting out to other cities?
there's not a lot going on here. The government just approved a land that is going to be developed into a, how do you say in English, a park ta'asiyah, industrial
area. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that there's a huge demand here for, but it's not a high-paying job, is like childcare or working in after-school things. There's endless jobs. English teacher, boy, if you speak English, they will pounce on you. There's a massive shortage of English teachers. They're trying to get 80-year-olds to come out of retirement and teach English. There's a massive, so if you're in education or you're willing to work like in the afternoon in a school setting, there are higher paying jobs a little bit around, they're starting, but also like the Caesarea industrial zone by car is only about 25 minutes away. Hadera is nearby. In other words, there are other places nearby that there are probably higher paying and high tech and other kinds of jobs around. Harish is really developing. Right now, there's about 40,000 people in Harish. As far as I remember, 35% of them are religious. And I can't remember the breakdown of the Anglos. Above 60, there's 1,500 people, and it's growing very fast. That number is going up all the time.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Where were you coming from? Where did you move from?
Kfar-Saba, which is 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away. But I really wanted community. And this, what's happening here gave a very unique opportunity to create a community living together in one building for 5 years. And then we'll see what happens. Yes.
Great. We also covered Kfar-Saba. So if anybody's interested, we have a YouTube channel. Just look up Kimbash. And under Kimbash, we have all the different communities that we actually did cover. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
It was a great overview.
And I'm happy to answer questions. People want my email afterwards or phone me.
That'd be great.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you so much. Deb, who's up next?
Okay, Ayelet. We would like to invite Ayelet to unmute yourself. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, you too.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. So if you want to just tell us where you live and your situation with kids, school, and life in Harish.
Okay, so we made Aliyah last year, moved to Ramat Beit Shamash, and then moved to Harish this past summer. So we've been here for about almost half a year now. My oldest is in first grade. She's in the Torani school in the community. My second is in Gan, and then my third's home with me. So what aspect should I speak about?
I don't know. How did you find Harish?
Shul, I'm losing internet.
Yeah, shul. How did you find Harish, and how are you adjusting?
Okay, so honestly, originally I was not. Okay, so originally I wasn't planning on moving.
We can't hear you so well.
Farther north than I wanted to move from Yerushalayim, but once I realized we had to move. Oh no, hold on. You know what? Move on to the next person, then come back to me.
Okay.
Having
No
problems with your
problem.
sound.
1 second. Let me set
Okay,
up a
we'll
hotspot.
come back to Ayala because I don't know. I couldn't hear her so
Hold
well.
on, I'm setting up a hotspot.
Okay. Rifki.
Hey, Rifki. Rifki's on. Okay.
If you want to unmute yourself.
Password.
Rifki?
Okay, I unmuted myself. Sorry.
Hey.
Great.
How you
Hi,
doing?
welcome.
So just coming back from an exercise course, an exercise class, only women's exercise class. So just so everyone knows, there are a lot of options in town, not just the one that I'm coming from right now. I mean, I don't even, I just joined right now, so I'm not sure what was spoken about. But I can,
Just going to say, if you've got kids in school,
Yeah.
where you live, and
Where
a
you
little bit of
from?
community, where you're from, community life.
Okay, so I could talk for hours. We made Aliyah about 2 years ago, almost straight to Harish. My husband works in Migdal HaEmek. He's an electrical engineer, and I'm a physical therapist. I work in Misrad HaChinuch in Harish itself. I have a son in Talmud Torah Harish, which is like a Torani Talmud Torah, which is semi-private. There's also a boys' Torani school here. This is like a kind of a new school. It only goes up to 4th grade this year, but so far we're really happy. My next son goes to a Torah Nigan, actually the same one that Ayelet's son goes to. They're good friends. And then my baby who's with a Mitapelet. I can tell you about like the Torani community here. There are a bunch of different Torani communities. We moved here because there's a Garin Torani here, a group of right-wing Zionist people who moved to Harish around like 18 years ago. That's when the shuls started. That's when the rabbi came. That's when everything. And Harish has changed tremendously since then. Then it was like a tiny yishuv around, I forgot, maybe like 8 years. I don't know. Someone probably spoke about this. They decided to make it a city. And the Garin Torani stayed and grew tremendously. There are tons of young families who are constantly moving in. There are a few of us that are Anglo that are there. It's really a community. They have a rabbi, they have a shul, they're called Rishi Tuoto. They have events, and they have shirim and tefillat yiladim. And that's just one of the shuls that exists in HaChorish neighborhood in Harish. There are a bunch of other communities and rabbis and shuls, whatever. That's just the one that we connected to and we felt comfortable with. And it's really warm and welcoming. And not only do they have, there are a lot of Israelis there, not so many Anglos, but there are a lot of other Olim from different countries. So there's some from Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Russia, different places like near Russia. I'm not even sure the exact countries, but in a way, like even though they're not Anglo, it kind of has that same. I don't feel like an outsider because I'm only non-Israeli. Like there's not native Israeli, and there are a bunch of other families who have made Aliyah, and other families who people who also don't speak English, Hebrew so perfectly. And what else can I say about that? It's constantly growing. I know I could tell you the school that my son goes to, the Talmud Torah, which is a more right wing, I guess. They're trying to make a girls' school also this coming year, but it would only start at 1st grade. There are tons of different school options in Harish, all along this, on every single spectrum. And if anybody has specific one that they're looking for, there's Chabad, there's Breslov, there's Haredi, there's Haredi Talmud Torah, there's tons of different stuff, and just religious. And so I could talk more. I could find out more information about those if anybody's interested. What other things what other topics should I?
I think you gave us a good overview, and I
Where
guess
you from? I want to know where you're from originally.
Oh, we're from New Jersey.
Where in New Jersey?
We made Aliyah from Highland Park. Anybody's from there?
Do you have family in Israel?
We do. My sister actually just made Aliyah like 3 months ago to Yerushalayim. Besides for that, I have aunt. I have some other cousins who live scattered around different places.
Nice.
Amazing. And tell me about, like, have you made a lot of friends?
Yeah, thank God. So, I mean, it takes longer, it took longer than because of coronavirus. But like I can tell you when we moved to Highland Park, somebody told us, okay, so like it takes 2 years to finally feel like you're comfortable in the community and that you have friends and you feel, part of the community. And so here I think it's, taking a little bit longer than that because of coronavirus and all the lockdowns and all the bidudim. But definitely, I definitely feel like, I have friends, whether they're, from the Anglo community, but also from the Israeli communities. And I can tell you just like living in my neighborhood specifically and going to my shul and going to my school, there are a lot of people who overlap. And so it's kind of fun and I feel like, you make friends, not because you just see them one time, it's because, you see them at Gan pickup and then you see them at shul too. And then you see them, at pickup at your other kid's school. And then, you just have a lot, and then you see that, I saw somebody at the exercise class today that I just came from. And, when you see people in different settings, it like makes that connection stronger. And like in my specific neighborhood where I live, I see the same people very often. I know I could tell you ideally, when we first made Aliyah, we wanted to live in a yishuv. We did not want to live in a city. And, Harish, I wouldn't call it a big city, but it is a city, all different types of people. And I really love like the diversity. But you also have that yishuv feel where, you see the same people, you go in the shul, it's just a neighborhood. Our neighborhood is pretty quiet. And I know the little kids running, they're walking the street. And so it does have that like small community feel. Like I feel like we've been here long enough that like I recognize everybody and the stores nearby and stuff like that.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much. And I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good.
And again, if anybody wants to contact, we will ask our guests tonight if they want to give us the information, and anybody wants to contact them after this call, let us know. Okay, Deb, are we going to cross over back to Ayelet?
Yeah, Ayelet, you want to try it again?
I hope I'm fine. Okay, so I'm going to jump on what Rifki said. I think before somebody asked about things going on in the community.
Yeah.
So one thing is many of the shuls, now this is more part of the Israeli network, but the shuls themselves have a lot of programs going on. So specifically the shul that Rifki and I both go to, which is the Garin Torah, it's very strong. One of the special things about it is that it's very strong. There's a lot of events, a lot of programs. They really try to be active in the community, not just a place to daven, but they really try to create community in the area. So they had a women's event last week. They had another one 2 weeks ago. Like they're constantly doing things, whether for kids, for adults. They had a meet and greet. So they're really bringing things to the community. That's not really. Oh, is my internet going down again? Can you hear me?
No, you're okay.
Or is my internet down?
No, you're okay.
I'm okay.
We hear you.
In terms of the Anglo community, so somebody asked about modern Orthodox shuls. There isn't a specific area where the Anglos live. It's very interesting. They're really spread out throughout the city, throughout the different communities. Now, as Harish is expanding, meaning different building projects are finished and people are getting their keys. So there are certain areas that people have all moved into, and there are other areas which people are only getting their keys right now. So they're now starting to develop. So let's say an example, there's one community called Basavta, which nobody lived in half a year ago. People are only just starting to move in, so it's going to develop its own personality in the coming months. As opposed to the community that I live in, which people have moved in for the past 4 years, it's already very strong. There's a lot of schools there. There's a lot of shuls there. There's a lot of events going on because it's already been lived in. So the Anglos aren't settled in one area. There isn't necessarily an Anglo shul, but many of the shuls have more or less Anglos in them. What else can I answer? In terms of the schools, I can't tell you about all of them, but my daughter's in the Torah Nilan, and they're providing 2.5 hours of Opan every day after school for her.
Amazing.
So she gets free Saharon, basically free aftercare, which technically she's learning Hebrew. I'm not sure if she's actually getting anything other than drawing, but technically the school is providing that for her, which is amazing. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are you working?
So I'm not working right now. My husband works in Migdal Emek. He's an engineer.
Oh, you said so, that's right.
About 45 minutes away. I was a teacher. Right now, I'm not working. I have to figure out what I'm going to do. But currently I'm home. In terms of the, what do you say?
Nothing.
Somebody said, like, in terms of like Israeli are open. So I'll tell you, like, I go to the park every day, and just to work on my Hebrew, I just strike up a conversation with any random Israeli mom, and like they're always so open. Like, wow, you just made Aliyah. That's amazing. How'd it go? Like, everyone's very open to making friends. Kind of, I think because it's a new city, everyone really wants to be involved in building it. So everyone really wants to be involved in being part of creating a community. I lived in a small town in America also, and like I really feel that everyone wants to be part of building something great, and you recognize that you matter because if you show up at an event or you don't, people notice that, which I think is really something that I always loved, and I think is really great about Harish.
Nice.
Any last minute thoughts about people thinking about Harish? Like any advice that you would give?
I think there's a range of people with different Hebrew skills. Like, I made Aliyah a year ago, and I've been working on my Hebrew. There are some people who have zero Hebrew, some people who have a lot, and it hasn't scared off people in either direction. There's a lot of people who are married to Israelis. There's a lot of people who made Aliyah and they're fresh off the boat and are working on their Hebrew, and like everyone feels the Anglo support system, which is, I lived in Beit Shemesh last year. It's not Beit Shemesh, and yet I feel like there's still 100% sufficient support to navigate all the hoops of making Aliyah.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have one more person before we jump into the real estate part of tonight. Lori Reitman, you want to unmute yourself?
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, great.
So I'm very new. I've been here 2.5 months.
Okay.
And I thought, like, my whole life I wanted to make Aliyah, and I thought I never could for financial reasons. And then as soon as I found out about Harish, we started ready to go. So it is wonderful to be able to afford. And it's going up, just like everywhere in Israel, it's going up and up. So I'm glad we didn't wait any longer. And I would definitely buy now before we get even better connected to Highway 6.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make a lot easier for travel. But I'll reiterate and then I'll add on is that I love the different levels of religiosity here. I feel like I live in a religious community, and I think that the Chilonim, the secular people, also feel like they live in a secular community. Like, we all have what we want. You know, walk down the street and I see religious people, and I see secular people, and I see Haredim and Nanachs and Karlibachs, and it's just so wonderful. I'm a Spanish teacher, so I feel like I also moved to Latin America because there's so many people from Latin America here. French, it's such a melting pot, and I love it. And like the other women said, everyone's looking to make friends, so they're super, super friendly. And like I met Rivki and Ayala before I came here, and because they're just on the WhatsApp helping people. So like we're here ready to help you. You'll have friends even before you get here.
Nice.
I want to say something about the Hebrew and the schools because my kids are brand new. So I love languages, and I already speak Hebrew pretty well. And so I feel really comfortable here. And I also am comfortable in a place where I don't know the language because I want to try. When I walk down the street here, I hear Hebrew. I don't hear very much other. Once in a while, I'll hear Spanish. Once in a while, I'll hear English. But you hear majority Hebrew. So if you love Hebrew and you want to immerse yourself in Hebrew, this is a great place. If you want to go to a place where there's a ton of Anglos and you don't want to be stressed by the language, then that's something to think about. Also with the schools, my daughter also goes with Ayala's daughter to Kanfei Ruach Banot. That's the Torani girls' school. It's amazing for Olim. I cannot say that about any other school. And I've talked to a lot of parents, and I even took my child to another school today to interview because he's not getting what he needs in his school. And the teacher there and the principal says, it's not going to be different here. We're not set up for your child. We're set up for people who've been here for a year and on. That said, I am working hard this year to change that. The area, the municipality is working hard to change that. All the moms are working hard to change. And I do believe that there's huge change in Harish every year because it's such a new city. So I think the last thing I'll say is if you have a child who's excited about coming here, who's excited about learning Hebrew, who can be who motivates himself, you'll be fine. That's 2 out of 3 of my children. If you have one of my children who really needs a lot of support and misses home and isn't really excited about learning Hebrew, there's not so much support for him.
There happens to be someone named Alona. Sadly, she couldn't join us on the call, and she works with the municipality and the matnas and everything and all the schools. And she also probably interacts with a lot of the moms, and she would be happy to field calls, or we could even have a follow-up call about all the schools with the people who are really serious to get you all the details on everything you would need to know if you were interested to move to the community.
Yeah,
Fiona wants to say something. Yeah.
Just tell everyone that all of the
Health insurance.
health insurance, God, terrible, thank you, have clinics in Harish. There are doctors, there's everything here. You can do your blood test. If you need specialists, you probably need to go to Paris, Hana, Karkul, maybe Hadera, but that's only 12 to maybe 20 minutes away. So and there's an emergency, a wonderful emergency care here that's open on Shabbat and at nights, which is fabulous. It's like from where I live, I've had to use it 3 minutes away. It's really wonderful. So, it's a big plus. There are a lot of things like that. It's a big plus.
Amazing. I wanted, before we start, there were a lot of questions about real estate, and we're going to cover that and going to go on to that as well. But I want to explain to you, being in the industry and understanding how the real estate world works here, we can always have one-on-one conversations afterwards with anybody. Devorah is going to be doing follow-up after this call. But what I want to explain to you, in Israel, there's no such thing as like multiple listing service. There is something called Yad Shtayim, which I saw people putting on there, but unfortunately, a lot of the listings are not current listings. So what happens is these agents come on and they have to put in a certain amount of listings every month. And you may even see the same listing listed with a few other agents. So we can go into that at the end. But I just want you to understand that it's very important that you have people that you can work with, who speak the language, that can help you and guide you. And that is what we are here to do for you. Okay, because otherwise it's very overwhelming. People don't know what they're doing, and we are your support system. Okay, so Devorah is going to introduce, there are some amazing new projects happening in Harish, so much opportunity, and we're very honored to have an amazing guest with us. Devorah is going to introduce, and then we're also going to show you about secondhand sales, what's going on in the market as well. So Deb?
Okay, so
Eliyahu.
Which do you go by, Ilya or Eliyahu?
Eliyahu.
Eliyahu. Okay, fine. Excellent. He's with Africa. Great. Thank you for joining us.
Africa, Israel.
Africa, Israel. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the buildings and what he works with and what kind of opportunities he has. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. Really excited. So first of all, I want to talk about our company, Africa Israel. It's one of the top companies in Israel, development companies, over than 85 years in the industry in Israel. So that's, it's a solid company with a lot of experience. And I'm in real estate in Israel for 4 years. I work only with foreign clients. I know that the clients are looking for a safe place to put their money, a safe opportunity. And Baruch Hashem, last week we got the award for the best development company for 2021. Okay, that's something important to know about the company. I would love to share with you a small video from our project that we have today in Harish. Devorah, can I do it, or can I share a screen?
I shared it. You should be able to.
Okay, let me try. Screen. Second. 1 second. Let me know if you see it.
Yeah, we see you. We just don't have the sound. Is there any sound?
Oh, you can't hear it?
No.
No. But it's okay. We can see all the buildings.
Maybe you could tell us what we're looking at.
Oh. So this is a 9 buildings development that we have. I want you to see the video, and after I'll explain afterwards. All right. So as you saw, this is our development in Harish. This is this is a 9 buildings. We've built 7 already. People are living in these buildings, and now we have another 2 buildings that are going to be ready in the next 2 years. We have total more than 380 units, and Baruch Hashem, now we have another 40 units for sale. We have from 2 bedrooms, 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, penthouses and garden apartments. Usually when we say an opportunity in Israel, the Harish spoke to me, she says, Eliyahu, I wanted to represent an opportunity. So I think Harish is a very big opportunity. As mentioned, prices in Israel are going very, very, are going high by month. It used to be by year. Things are getting really good, Baruch Hashem. And Harish in the last year is one of the prices went up about a lot, about 10%. But even still makes sense. So it's still a good opportunity for someone who's coming with a low budget. He says, look, I can't afford in Jerusalem. I can't afford in Ramat Bet Shemesh. I still want to have my community. Where can I go? Harish is still a very big opportunity, or for an investment, or for opportunity for a community, if you want to do aliyah. And a lot of people buys, as it says, I have a piece in Eretz Israel in my budget that I can rent it in the meantime, and Bezat Hashem one day, I can live there. So it's also a very good opportunity. Something very important to know that there is a big supply, supposed to be a big supply in the next few years in Harish. But what happened that a lot of companies now are taking their residential, what they were supposed to sell, and they're not going to sell it. They're only just to rent it. That's something that's going to happen. A lot of companies that were supposed to have projects for sale in the next year, 18 months, are not going to sell it. So I can tell you that we own one of the companies who has the biggest supply. Okay. Now we're talking about prices. We're talking about 2 bedrooms apartments. We're going about 1.3 million shekels. Okay. Doing the cheshbon, that when you buy a property in Israel, when you're a foreign client, foreign resident, you get 50% mortgage, and then you have to bring 50% capital. From my calculations, if you take your apartment, you take a 50% mortgage, your rental does pay the mortgage, so you don't have any extra fees, extra payment. You can buy something in Israel, to rent it out in the meantime. The rentals are really, really highly demanded in Harish, and the prices are going high. So either for an investment is a very good investment. So we're talking about 2 bedrooms apartments. They're about 80. I can show you some plans, but I think you want me to show some plans now?
If you want, or otherwise we can always do one-on-one with anybody who's interested.
I think it's
later on.
one-on-one because let's do
And
more organized.
Eliyahu, tell us a little about the bigger apartments, like the 3 bedrooms, the penthouses.
We have 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms. We have penthouses and garden apartments. Let's say 4 bedrooms apartments are about almost 120 square meters. Okay, they're going about 1.5 million shekels with a storage and a parking spot. 4 bedrooms apartments for 1.5 in Bet Shemesh, you don't even get 2 bedrooms today in the developments.
Correct.
So, and about the community, about the people, I don't have to say any more about all that. We had 40 minutes. People said so good about Harish. It's a very good investment, very good opportunity. A lot of things, but we are located in Shchunat HaPrachim, which is the new development, the neighborhood. It's really mixed. A lot of people ask, is it only Orthodox? It's not Orthodox. It's really mixed. You have non-Orthodox people and Orthodox, not ultra-Orthodox. I would say, it's a modern Orthodox and not Dati, and it's a very big mix, either for young families and older families. Very good opportunity. A lot of things going on. The company, the government really is investing a lot of money to promote Harish. Even if it's a train, they're going to be a train in 3-4 years, but they're going to be a train about 30 minutes to Tel Aviv, meaning that people who live in Harish can work in Tel Aviv, and then where the salaries are higher. So it's it's a very nice and new opportunity. If there's someone who wants to hear more, we can always make one-on-one calls. But it's something interesting, and also something that a lot of people says, look, I have a small amount right now. What can I do? So because we are 2 years from getting the apartments, so you can put a 20% down payment right now and 80% by the end. So, and then it's easier payment terms. We know the needs of the foreign clients. We know the process. We help them, and when Kim is around, so have 50% of my work. She helps a lot. Really.
I just want to say, Eliyahu, thank you so much for coming on. And I just want to, Africa Israel is one of the best development companies in Eretz Israel. They are reliable. Their projects are all bank guaranteed, and they build very, very well. And I've worked with them on several different projects, and my clients have always had incredible customer service, and they understand the foreign market. So especially Eliyahu has now come on board, and he's very involved with building community as well. And he really understands what the foreign clientele is looking for. So somebody also just mentioned that there's no green in this area. I mean, you must understand these are all new developments. And in a couple of years, the whole landscape is going to change. When Ramat Beit Shemesh started and all these new areas, there was very little green in those neighborhoods as well. This is a new city. It's a growing city. It's an expanding city. So this will take time for the landscape, for the whole area, to get trees, to plant, I think also all these neighborhoods in the next couple of years with so much aliyah and people coming in are also going to change.
I can say more than this, that let's take for example Beit Shemesh. Beit Shemesh is growing really, really big, but they happen by themselves. Here, not only it's happening by itself, it's also the government is encouraging all the platform, all the commercial areas, industrial, a lot of things that the government is investing there. It's one of the biggest developments, projects of the government. So it's coming also from the market, because there is a very big demand for Harish, and the government is encouraging buying in Harish, so a lot of things will be, are going now. Someone asked about the payment terms. Really, 20% by when we sign a contract, and 80% in 2 years when the development will be ready.
Can I add
Yeah,
something?
Sure.
So I'll be totally honest. My mother and my brother both asked me whether they think that they should invest in Harish, not planning on living there. My personal opinion is that to live here, I would definitely buy something. If I wasn't going to live here, I don't know if I would invest. There's so many empty apartments, and you have to work really hard to get somebody to rent it, because they're building more and more and more. That honestly, I think it's an awesome place to buy if you're going to live. But it's not necessarily, I don't know. I'm not in the business, but I constantly see things are for rent that I imagine you have to work really hard to make yours rentable. Maybe if you buy the garden apartment or the penthouse or the cottages, then that's different. But random 4-bedroom apartment, I see how many are available, and they're still building tons more buildings. I don't want to put that out there just as I'm living here, what I see.
I think, sorry, I just want to add on, I hear you, and I think it's everywhere. It's the same in Ramat Beit Shemesh as well. I think that we are expecting a massive aliyah, I think, as well, and I think that that's what's happening, is that people are going to be able to rent out their investment properties eventually. It may take a bit of time. It just may be very competitive.
Ayelet, I want to say something else. That's why I agree with you, but I can tell you that through the records from Remax and Keller Williams, the biggest broker agencies in the world, their top rentals in all Israel, it's in Harish for both of them, okay, because they do a lot of rentals. And now, no, we're talking about 2 years from now. You staying in Harish, you know how it's growing, and 2 years is a lot of time to grow. So that's one of the things. Maybe today, as you're saying, but in 2 years, the reality, is going to be different for what we believe in.
Okay. Yes, Chaya.
Just to address the green issue, there are a lot of parks and playgrounds here already. And there's a beautiful muse up there, Eretz, the main street, with lots of flowers. So it really isn't like just a concrete jungle right now. There is a lot of green here already. Of course, not as much as other cities, but it is also a very beautiful place to live.
It looks beautiful. Those pictures with all the green in the background was beautiful, the forests. I mean, anytime that there's new building going on, it's always a little bit, like you're living in a bit of a concrete jungle. But I do see that it is very green. And I think as Africa Israel as well, I know that part of their development is to make sure that the surrounding areas are also landscaped as well. That's part of what when they get given the contract to build in that area, they also have to beautify the place around it as well. So, okay, so Eliyahu, thank you so much. We're going to have time, if anybody wants to make a one-on-one call with us, with Eliyahu, about apartments that are available. I always say to people, if you can push yourself for buying, and you can go for the penthouses, and you can go for the garden, and instead of buying a 2-bedroom, push yourself to buy a 3-bedroom, the time is now, because the prices it's crazy what's going on right now in the market, and everything is going up across the board. The real estate market was over 12%, by the way. It went up across the whole of Israel in the last year, the prices. And for those of you who read the news, you'll see that Tel Aviv now is the most expensive city in the world. So it's quite crazy, but it's when I used to say to my clients, don't complain, Manhattan and LA are much more expensive, but now I see Tel Aviv is on the top there. So Eliyahu, thank you so much. And
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And again, if someone has a question, now we can ask. We can make a one-on-one calls. We have big supply, a lot of things to offer in a good budget range for, people don't really actually think that sometimes they can buy with their money something in Israel, but Harish is a good opportunity. And with your money today and your money in 4 years, 2 or 3 years, it's going to be very different. Ladies, she's asking here, how much is a garden apartment? The garden apartments are going about 1.55, 1.57, depends on the apartment.
Size, on the size of the
Size,
apartment. Okay, I also want to just add, it's very important. That's why you need people to guide you. We have a team of lawyers, mortgage brokers, people to help you through the process. And it's very important that when you're buying something in Israel, that you understand there's closing costs. It doesn't matter if you are a foreign buyer, you are a resident, you are a new immigrant. There are closing costs no matter what. If you're buying as a foreigner, your purchase tax, everybody pays a purchase tax in Israel, is going to be higher than if you're buying it as a resident, as an Israeli or as a new immigrant. You have broker's fees. Now in Israel, the buyer and the seller can both pay a broker's fee, but it's not the same as in America, where you pay a much higher broker's fee. Usually the seller pays it, but it's 2% plus VAT. And then you've got lawyers' fees, which are usually 1% plus VAT, sometimes negotiable depending on the situation. But whatever you buying, please have in mind that there will be additional closing costs. And I'm happy to sit with anybody to go through that with you so that you can work out your budget. Okay. And also when you sign a contract in Israel, some people say, oh, well, I'm only going to get possession in 2 years' time. When you sign the contract, you have both the feet in. You are committed. Okay. So it's very important. It's not like you sign, put down a down payment, and then you can pull out. Once you sign a contract in Israel, even if you're getting the keys 2 years later, it is a commitment. Okay, so Deb is going to show us, if anybody wants, we're going to have an open session in a few minutes, but Devorah is going to show you a little bit of resales in the community. We also thought it was very important to see what is, besides new project, what is going on in the community right now. There's an abundance of real estate opportunities. Deb, I'm sure it should be shared screen, so you should be able to share now.
Okay, so here we go. Just going to walk you through. Here's just a little bit of an overview of the city of Harish. And here's just a little bit on the map, and just gives you an overview. It's 15 minutes from Caesarea, 50 minutes from Tel Aviv, 30 minutes from Kfar-Saba Ra'anana, 40 minutes from Haifa. And this is not depending on the traffic. Depends on what time you leave your house, can you get to those locations. All right, we're going to just jump in here and just give you just a little bit of an overview. All the homes all have their pesets, and you're going to see a lot of pretty views. And you're going to see there is some green in the city, and some places a lot more green. But just to give you an idea, here's a 3-bedroom apartment with a spacious kitchen and island and storage, parking, and they're asking 1.18 million shekel. Okay, and here's a 4-bedroom in Avnechain area, and it's got half-covered balcony and also storage parking, and it's near shopping and also right next to a park. You can see lots of sunlight, and they're asking 1.175. There we go. In Shoham, another area, and here they have a much bigger balcony. Again, a lot of these balconies are half covered, half open for your sukkah balcony. Something like this, 4-bedroom is going for 1.280. Again, same neighborhood, same 4 bedrooms, different layout, different feeling in the building. This is going for 1.290. Okay, now here we have is a garden apartment. Which is gives you, you're on the ground floor, and this is a 4-bedroom garden in Harish, and it's near all the schools and parks and next to a soccer field. This is going for 2.150. Then I just threw in 2 rentals just to give you a gauge on the pricing in the area. So here is a 3-bedroom rental in Harish, and it's a top floor apartment, elevator building, 2.5 baths, parking, storage, and they're asking for 2,600 shekel a month. And a beautiful balcony. And here's something of a bigger rental. This is a penthouse, 4-bedroom, and it has 2 en-suites, which means 2 master bedrooms with bathrooms inside them, and then another 2 regular bedrooms. And parking, storage, a large 60-meter balcony with the forest view. And they're asking for 5,000 shekel a month. Just so you know, something like that here in Ramat Beit Shemesh, just to give you like an idea, that would go for like 14,000 shekel a month, something like that. So there is a total range of prices and opportunities. This just gives you a quick glance at the schools. They have many schools, and again, anybody's interested, we'll set you up with a meeting with Alona to walk you through it, or with a community member and give you all the details and information. And there is just everything for everyone, from secular to Haredi, any level of religiosity, there is something to offer you and your family. So Kim and I are very happy to meet with you, talk with you, walk you through it, and schedule private meetings with Eliyahu, and help you any which way we can to help you land in Harish. So I think without further ado, I think we'd ask if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we're going to open it up to the floor. And again, this will be recorded. So if anybody wants my telephone number or Devorah's, you can find us under Kim Bash. We're on Facebook, on Instagram, and we're all about community. So we really felt that Harish has so much to offer. And we have so many people, just to give you what's going on in the Aliyah world. There are 70 families now coming to a place in Afula Elite. There's another 17 families coming from Far Rockaway. There's a whole group of Syrian community that's making Aliyah to Netanya. There is so much going on right now. So if anybody is interested in us talking to a community leader in an area in one of your cities, wherever you may live, we're happy to bring the presentation to them. And maybe you have friends and family who want to move together. It doesn't mean that you're making Aliyah right now. It could be in a couple of years. But this is an opportunity we really feel that is not to be missed. And just to follow up, we do these calls. We were doing it every week, and then every couple of weeks, every time we have a new opportunity, we'll bring it to you. And we hope to bring next week to you, Naria. We're going to be doing that probably next week. We will post it and send out emails about that. But again, we're here. Sorry, I didn't know if there was a question. But we will be covering anybody wants to know more about a particular neighborhood, and we haven't covered it. Please send a message to myself or Devorah, and we will look into it. We're looking into another, it's a kibbutz, I think we're doing, or some kind of moshav that has housing opportunities available. We're looking for agricultural opportunities, people who want more land. So there's so much going on right now. There is definitely a place for everybody, and we are so thrilled to be able to bring this opportunity to you.